The Mavericks fired Nico Harrison. They fired him Tuesday
Shock
morning.
level 0.
What was your first initial reaction when he got fired?
First off, I laughed. I laughed really hard. Secondly, there was the part of me that laughed not just at Mavericks organization, but at the fact that you allowed him to make the move to trade Luka Doncic and you gave him no time to right the wrong. You just saw all the disastrous things that had happened early on in this Maverick season. You said, peace.
See it.
That's enough. Because clearly, if you allowed him to trade Luka Doncic, there had to be some type of belief and trust that he had an idea and a plan on what the next steps were going to be. You didn't. And now you just scapegoated the shit out of Nico Harrison. Because Nico Harrison's not the only one that said, get him out of here. It can't be. There's no way that Nico Harrison has 100% staying power over every single move that the Mavericks make. You can't convince me of that. Not a chance in hell. Nevertheless, no one's surprised. Nico made the worst trade in NBA history, arguably sports history, one could argue, especially with the fact in hindsight that Anthony Davis has played, 10 games for them? Something like that.
It's really low. It's a low amount of games.
I know. I'm using a hyperbolic number. Nevertheless, he's not been available for you. Kyrie Irving, the whole plan was to have Kyrie and AD. Kyrie, unfortunately, is recovering from a pretty severe injury. You get blessed with Cooper Flagg. I thought that alone would give him a little bit of grace to maybe at least finish the season to see what happens. Quick trigger, gone. That it was shocking in that regard that they didn't give him the full season to actually either boom or bust. It's going to be a bust the way that the Mavericks have been playing, the way that they're injured, fine. But the Mavericks organization is becoming a clown show very quickly.
I didn't expect them to be this bad. It was an awful trade. I just didn't expect them to be this awful because everything has went wrong for them that could possibly go wrong. Kyrie Irving tore his ACL. We didn't get a chance to see him and Anthony Davis on the floor together. Anthony Davis gets injured in his Mavericks debut, and he was looking awesome in the debut, by the way. And then that just went down the drain because of injuries. They don't make the playoffs because they lose in the play-in to Memphis. And then they got lucky with Cooper Flagg. That's the only saving grace to this franchise right now. And one of the worst trades in NBA history, but it gets exasperated because of how much Nico Harrison banked on older, injury-prone, unreliable players. As much as you can knock Luka Doncic for his offseason regimen, he always played, and he played through injuries. And that's something that Anthony Davis, he's done sometimes in his career, but for the most part, he's been in and out the lineup. So for me, I think that the Mavericks need to rebuild completely. Right now, they only have their 2026 first round pick that they own for the next couple of years.
Yep.
From 2027 to 2030, they don't own their first round pick.
Who do they belong to?
One of them belongs to OKC.
How much protection is on it?
What?
In 2028.
You're joking.
It's literally a swap.
Oh, shit.
Yes, it's
I'm
a
going to
swap.
be honest. How?
OKC's pissing me
How?
off.
They just take first round picks every
So
year.
in
Forever.
2028, they have the right to swap. In 2029, they have the Lakers first rounder.
Dallas has the right to swap.
No, OKC.
Oh.
Yes.
They're cooked. Bro, OKC's the best organization in the history of basketball.
In
That's funny
2029,
shit.
the Rockets have the right to swap.
Oh.
And then in 2030, the Spurs get the most favorable pick of
The
the two.
fuck? We're getting all, yo, that's funny as shit. Only
So
young teams
they don't
have it.
own their picks from 2027 to
They hope they're
2030. So this is the time to be as bad as possible to get one of the top 3 guys or even one of the 5 best players in the draft. I think for Cooper Flagg's development, Mikael Brown Jr. is like the perfect point guard to pair up with him. But you can't pass up on the talents that they like Cam Boozer, Peterson.
Dude, there's a lot of there's been a lot of freshmen fucking going crazy.
Yeah, Caleb Wilson looks really good.
Yeah, a lot
too.
of guys.
So, like the Mavericks need to try to rebuild, but you also have to try to keep an infrastructure around Cooper. I think the number 1 trade candidate is Anthony Davis. You can get a lot for him still. Maybe not as much as you could before.
You think he'd come back home?
To the Lakers, I don't know what you guys would trade.
I don't even know.
What if we gave him Austin Reeves? What if we gave him
Do we really give up Austin Reeves?
for AD?
Availability.
I get where you're coming from, but it's Anthony Davis.
It is Anthony Davis
Oh.
at the end of the day.
Say
But
LeBron's hurt.
Luka.
AD's been
hold
hurt.
on. You do know
Mhm.
the perfect counterpart to Luka is Anthony Davis.
When he's on the floor.
Of course, but okay,
I would
Riff, get back to
I don't know how many teams are going to put their stock in AD at this point because of his injury history.
I don't think the package is going to be as good as we think it's going to be.
Reeves a first. Does that get it done?
I feel like that'd be
the money's off. So
Yeah,
we need
yeah,
to add some
by a
money.
lot.
I forget that basketball's lame.
Yeah, we need to add some money to it.
Hold on, let me formulate something ugly.
You need to add all them bums. So Jared
Yeah, all of
Vanderbilt,
them. Rui.
Maxi Kleber, all that.
I'm gonna be honest, we're not getting AD.
Man, I think Chicago would be in the picture. A team that is one of those teams that like to stay in the competitive range, whether it be play-in, playoff. I think Miami would be a suitor. You know, they're always dangling. I think any team who is in position to just be comfortable in where they're at. So I think Chicago would be the best destination just because right now they've been in a funk lately. We're not going to talk about Giddey yet. We're going to give him a little bit more time to
He's
bounce
been
back.
out.
No, but before that, though, he's fell down.
He hasn't played the last 2 games, though.
Yeah, but he's fell back down to earth, low key. But we'll let him get some time to bounce. Yeah, we'll let him get some time back. But I think Chicago would be the perfect destination for AD. I think that's a guy you can bring in. Chicago loves to be in the play-in. They love to be competitive. I think that's a destination. He likes Chicago. He's from Chicago, if I'm not mistaken. But he definitely wants to be in Chicago. But I really don't think there's a ton of teams that'll be suitors for AD just given the contract, the age, and the injury concerns. I think they have a lot of good players, though, that you can get some value back. Gafford, PJ Washington, Kyrie,
Najee.
I think, could still have some value. Najee Marshall, but I also think, like you mentioned, Joel, you have to keep some talent around Cooper Flagg. Like, first of all, you're playing him in the wrong position. Like he's not a point guard. He's a small forward, a hybrid wing. Got to keep him there, but you don't have a point guard. I do think the draft is going to be loaded, so even if you don't get Mikal, you can get a point guard late in the first or in the second or something like that. But for the most part, Dallas is fucked. Because you mentioned it, 29. They should be good by 2030. So really like 2028, 2029, probably should be good by 2029 too. But 2028, OKC is kind of crazy. But you have 2026, 2027 to figure it out.
Yeah, I think, first of all, the Anthony Davis trade package isn't going to be nearly as good as we think. Drew was talking about Austin Reeves in the first. I feel like that'd be one of the better trade packages you get. Now, obviously, money aside, it doesn't work just like that. But I'm saying a player as good as Austin Reeves plus a draft pick. I mean, I feel like that is probably as good as you get if you're the Mavericks. Because AD right now, you know, he's over 30 years old. The injuries are there. He hasn't been playing up to his standard. I don't think he's in the best shape right now either. I just feel like his trade value is probably an all-time low right now. So if you're Dallas, you hope over the next 2 or 3 months that he could try to, you know, kind of recoup that value so you could get hopefully maybe 2 first-round picks. Right now, I just don't know what the value is because the contract, all of the other stuff I listed.
Right now.
And exactly, he just can't stay healthy. So, you know, obviously we know when Anthony Davis is right, the type of player he is, you know, two-way, top 5 type of two-way guy. That's how special he can be. But you also have to look at what is the future for Anthony Davis, right? He's someone who is consistently injured. He's on the wrong side of 30. He's not going to get better. Like there's this, what he is right now. Sure, maybe he get in some better shape and play better, but Anthony Davis at this point. You can't really mortgage your future for a player like this. So I think the names Rip put out is solid. It's teams that are, you know, kind of in that play-in, playoff hunt, not favorites in the Eastern Conference, but Anthony Davis could potentially have them win a playoff series. I mean, it's over at this point. But I don't think there's going to be some major move from a contender, right? I don't think there's any team in like the top 3 or 4 seeds in the East or the Western Conference looking at Anthony Davis like that's our missing piece. For Nico Harrison, it was shocking in the sense that you gave him, like, you allowed him to have this vision with Luka Doncic, and then you fired him.
You didn't even see it through.
No, which he shouldn't have because it was a stupid vision.
They shouldn't have done it in the first place.
But it's funny that this really stems from the courtside fan talking to the ownership saying that I can't believe you traded Luka Doncic, and it feels like it all kind of stems down from this. I mean, the trade should never happen in the first place. Nico Harrison, before that, we viewed as one of the best GMs in basketball. Like, he made all those great moves. You go to the finals in 2024. But then you made the worst trade probably in sports history. And you traded Luka Doncic. And you traded Quinn Grimes. Which was
nothing.
Yeah, for Caleb Martin.
So
like,
Detroit, man.
I don't know what happened. I don't know if it's like a humiliation ritual with Nico Harrison right now. But you made the worst trade in sports history. And I tweeted, I don't know how I live with myself professionally. Like, you have a perfect job. You're general manager of a sports team. You go to the finals. You have a top 5 player who's an historically great offensive player. And then you let him go for Anthony Davis, and you look up the next day and you're like, holy shit, this team is going nowhere fast. So it's a bad situation for Dallas fans.